and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nafisa Mayuk, and today we will be covering on the issue of the socio-economic struggles being faced by the bottom half income group in the Malaysian society as a result of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. With that, we will take a deeper look into the socio-economic state of the group in question with the subject of our report, Impact of COVID-19 towards low-income families in Malaysia. The pandemic has brought upon an economic slowdown in the country, with no other group seems to have been hit harder than the low-earning families in the country. Income classification in the country is divided into three broad categories: T20, M40 and B40 income groups. The B40 income group refers to the bottom 40% of the population in the country with the monthly income between 2,500 ringgit and 4,500 ringgit. Many of these lower income families that belong to this B40 income category have been struggling to meet their day-to-day expenses than ever before. This is as a result of the pandemic, forcing many institutions as well as businesses to close or shrink in size. This financial state has led to affecting both the physical as well as social well-being of many families.
So movement control orders have caused various sectors in the Malaysian economy to close, if not scale down in size, leading to slow down the propagation speed. However, people may be more susceptible to the infection of the pandemic. But the adverse economic impact is on the urban poor. From Jabatan Perumahan Negara data showed that 65.8% of nationals' PPR household income is less than 2,000 ringgit, and in the state of high urbanization degree. In 2017, there were 73,622 PPR units nationwide, most of them in Kuala Lumpur. In more urbanized states, PPR households have an average monthly income of around 2,000 ringgit. Selangor at 2,079.4 ringgit, and Kuala Lumpur at 1,094.4 ringgit. PPR family average monthly income of around 2,000 ringgit. In other words, these families may have been trying to make ends meet. The outbreak will have a huge impact on their finances.
According to an analysis by Khazanah Research Institute (KRI) on the data by Bank Negara and Malaysian Institute of Economic Research (MIER), the effect is especially worse for those who are living in urban areas such as Kuala Lumpur.
The Malaysian Institute of Economic Research also warned that the last decision to extend MCO would result in about 2.4 million jobs losses. In addition, about 20% of the households in PPR are self-employed or earn income through their small business. However, the epidemic has now led to this business. As a downside of closed shops, cutting off one of their main sources of income.
One of the largest sectors that have been shut down are educational institutes such as schools. Although academic employees and students have adapted to utilize online means of operation, other staffs such as janitors and food suppliers that depend on school operation as their sole source of income are faced with a great challenge.
It's currently 1:30 in the afternoon on Monday, whereby school kids will be coming out of school on their way back home on common days. However, since COVID-19 is reaching its peak, schools are ordered to close nationwide since 9 November 2020 by the Minister of Education to curb the spread of COVID-19. This is also to ensure that schooling in 2021 will be made possible. Teaching and learning are expected to be conducted online and at the comfort of one's home. However, it will not be the same experience for everyone. digital learning amidst pandemic brings upon social and financial issues for the less privileged students. From not having internet access to as far as being homeless, inequalities and gap in facilities that made online learning possible will affect students' learning process and long-term effect on their growth. These nationwide closures not only impact thousands and millions of students and teachers, it can also impact workers of the school. Not only the closure of school limits the learning process of the students of underprivileged families, it can also cause job loss to the workers.
One of such individuals is Mrs. Siti Hajar, a mother of 4, who has been a full-time canteen assistant at a public school until the school operation is met with a dire uncertainty.
Sejauh mana penutupan sekolah ni menjejaskan pendapatan Cik Hajar sebagai seorang pembantu kantin?
Terjejas lah. Memang terjejas teruklah. Maksudnya kita tak ada pendapatan. Jadi Ihsan pada guru besar lah, sebab dia under guru besar. Kantin tu bukan tender. Dia under sekolah. Jadi kalau sekolah bagi Ihsan dia, sebab kita tak bekerja kan. Betul. Memang terus tak ada pendapatan lah. Tak ada income yang masuk kan. Jadi kalau dia bagi, syukur alhamdulillah. Kalau dia tak bagi pun kita tak boleh cakap apa sebab memang sekolah tutup.
Okey, jadi beberapa bulan kan sekolah ditutup dan ada seketika tu dibuka balik. Adakah waktu sekolah tu buka balik memberi peluang kepada Cik Hajar cerita sedikit?
Buka balik pun orang cakap tak macam dulu lah. Tapi orang cakap apa, tak macam kita sebelum COVID ni lah. Maksudnya murid pun tak ramai yang hadir. Diorang pun bersekolah pun dia orang berdiri. Jadi ramai yang buat bekal. Jadi kantin memang terjejas lah.
Adakah Cik Hajar mempunyai alternatif lain untuk mencari pendapatan?
Tak ada lah buat apa-apa. Tapi sebab kadang bila ada ibu ustaz nak suruh kat kerja, kita kena datang. Jadi kita nak setakat buatkan proposal untuk sekolah lah.
Sekali proposal. Maksudnya memang betul-betul mengharapkan ihsan daripada guru besar sekolah tu. Boleh saya tahu tak Cik Hajar sekarang ni mungkin tinggal bersama dengan anak-anak ke ataupun masih bersekolah? Berapa ramai yang sekolah?
Dia ni bercakap ada 4 orang. Seorang tu baru habis buat marah. Baru nak mula kerja lah macam tu. Tapi pun susah juga lah sebab tidak orang tak berapa belanja kan. Jadi yang 3 tu dah masih dah pergi sekolah. Sekarang yang belajar daripada rumah lah.
Macam mana bila anak-anak Cik Hajar ada yang belajar daripada rumah kan, macam mana Cik Hajar memenuhi kelengkapan anak-anak?
Sebenarnya telefon kita pun kongsi lah. Kongsi kadang tak cukup. Tak kena line ke apa ke. Jadi macam kadang kita dekat luar, anak nak pergi sekolah macam tak, orang cakap tak mencukupi apa yang kat rumah ni.
Dari segi orang kata kalau macam makanan tu macam mana? Maksudnya makanan harian, makanan ruji mencukupi?
Jimat-jimat lah. Macam kita dah dapat BPM tu, kita jimat-jimat lah. Pasal kehidupan ni tinggi kan. Kalau kami pergi pasar tu terasa lah. Terasa
betul? Bila barang-barang menaik.
Barang semua naik. Lepas tu kita kena jimat lah. Maksudnya barang kecil pun tak ada yang semua kan lah. So memang terkesan sangat.
Kesan sangat, betul-betul.
On the other hand, street vendors relying on their earning from sales in places such as night markets or pasar malam are also among those who are badly affected, even after the government has loosened the restriction on operation of such businesses.
With the recent issue of COVID-19, business sector is one of the largely impacted areas, Small businesses, local vendors and street hawkers especially are heavily impacted as they are financially fragile. This area used to be one of the night marketplace that is often frequented by the local here. However, since the rise of COVID-19, this place seems almost deserted. Since the implementation of Movement Control Order on 18th of March, small and big businesses suffer the effects of COVID-19 and go through a series of uncertainty. Although night markets are allowed to operate following strict SOP and enhanced safety, local hawkers and street vendors have trouble to remain open as customers don't visit as much, causing them to experience loss in business. As pandemic has caused changes in consumers' behavior to be more comfortable in online transactions, business owners have to adapt with the new normal and shift to digital tools to survive in this industry.
In addition to the economic and financial impacts that have risen, the social and psychological well-being of the group is also at stake, as many are experiencing difficult time coping up with the various changes in their lives.
Even before the pandemic, I'm already having like some, how they call it, some terms of depression. Of course, my anger situation become even worse because, as you know, like I have to think like how I'm going to survive for tomorrow, even though like my income is already low and now it's impacted by the pandemic situation for right now. It's even become even worse.
If someone asks you about your income, will you answer truth?
To be honest, no, actually.
Why?
Okay, because first it's a bit of dignity. Because you know, when I'm telling people about my income, they will feel like I need help, which actually I'm not. I can cover myself by myself. Yeah, that's the main issue lah. Because if I share my financial situation with others, they might feel that actually I'm asking for help.
Do you think being low income will embarrass you?
It's not going to embarrass me as much as more that am I going to cover myself? Am I going to fulfill all my family needs? Because as you know, since the pandemic, since like no one is meeting each other, since we are actually not going out or buying from outside or anything, so being low income during the pandemic situation for right now, not really embarrassing. More than I feel embarrassed if I can go back, or if I went back to my home and I tell my family that we cannot eat from tomorrow or after tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult to afford healthy food in this situation, in pandemic situation?
As you know, actually, like healthy food is quite expensive.
Yeah.
Compared to manufactured food, which is like way cheaper. Of course, before the pandemic, I was able to provide some healthy food for my family, but for now, I think if I could buy like 2 or 3 items, I will be fine. Like I don't care either like it's healthy or not, since the pandemic like affect us.
As soon as you can survive.
Exactly, that's the thing.
In conclusion, it is evident that the low-income population in the country is still striving to meet the ends, and the financial state has impacted the psychological and social aspects of their lives. But initiatives are being taken by government and various NGOs alike to support and ease the burden of these families. Government assistance are still in progress, with the package Bantuan Prihatin Nasional BPN extended for the 3rd time since the MCO. There is still dire need for continual support for this vulnerable group to maintain the economic stability in the country as we go through these difficult times. With that, we end our report here with the hope that we can see an improvement in our community in the nearest future. Until next time, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.